So I know firsthand how frustrating it can be to be told that your thyroid labs look completely normal and you are sitting there with a ton of thyroid symptoms. I personally have gone through this myself numerous times, and one thing that I found with myself personally and in my own practice is that the hair tissue mineral analysis, which is also called HTMA, can reveal so many other things when the thyroid blood testing can look completely normal. So I wanted to go over with you a few things as to how this can happen, what it could indicate, and even how you can get it checked yourself. If you could do me a really big favor, if you could go ahead and subscribe to my channel and then hit that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video. So one thing I wanted to mention is that it is very, very common for minerals to get completely depleted when you have a slow thyroid. It's super common to also see them get depleted when we have adrenals are imbalanced as well. And what goes hand in hand are the thyroid and the adrenals. So it's really, really common to see those minerals just get completely tapped out when you are really struggling with thyroid symptoms as well. And it's not something that you necessarily will be testing on a blood test. So I see this all the time in my practice on myself as well, where my thyroid blood tests look normal and my minerals were completely imbalanced. And there's actually a ratio on the hair test that is called calcium-potassium ratio, and this is your thyroid ratio. So when that number is very elevated, it actually means that the thyroid is slow. Now keep in mind that your blood test could look totally normal. So you might have the thyroid hormones floating around. Your TSH might look okay. But just because you have thyroid hormones floating around doesn't mean that you're using the thyroid hormones. And this is where the minerals come into play. So what I usually see is calcium-potassium ratio goes up. And so calcium will be typically elevated and potassium will be completely tapped out. And one of the things we need potassium for is it will sensitize all your cells to actually use thyroid hormone. And calcium, if it gets too elevated, it will actually shell around tissue. It will not allow those thyroid hormones to go inside the cells and to be used. So this is why you might have those thyroid hormones floating around like completely normal. And unfortunately, those thyroid hormones might not be going inside the cells. Your body might not be using them at all. I see this all the time. And once we get the ratio back to some normalcy, we get calcium back where it's supposed to be, because calcium, when it's elevated, it means it's outside the bone and teeth. So you get it to go back in where it's supposed to go, and you bring the potassium levels up. I see some massive changes with thyroid symptoms. And again, I went through this myself. So it's something to really consider is what's going on with those minerals. Because if that calcium-potassium ratio is very elevated, you could take all the thyroid hormone medication in the world. It does not mean your body's using it. Also, keep in mind is if the adrenals are also being taken a hit as well, that's also going to feed into this. And so that's one of the reasons why every single client that I work with, we are always working on minerals first. Minerals are like little spark plugs. You can't magically make minerals on your own. You have to either get them externally from food or from supplementation. This is why I see such a big change with clients, is because we're looking at minerals. Now we're optimizing the cells and your body to actually use the thyroid hormone instead of just pumping you with thyroid hormone. There are some other things to also keep in mind. Sodium is connected to your thyroid and adrenals as well as magnesium. Magnesium is a really big one. And a lot of times once calcium goes up, we'll see magnesium start to rise as well. And that's a really big connection to the thyroid as well. So we have to look at all those. The other factor to also consider is something like selenium. This test also looks at iron, which I will compare to blood testing as well. Selenium is a really big one though. We have to have selenium on board for thyroid hormone conversion. It helps keep TSH in check. Boron also helps keep TSH in check. That's also checked on the hair tissue mineral analysis. So you can see why I love to use minerals in my practice and the mineral testing. And I literally do it on every single one of my clients, because I just see so many people start noticing a little bit changes. Sometimes some get big changes right away. Some get little to start off, and then they make big changes down the road. But they really notice changing in their thyroid symptoms, because now, again, like I said, your body's optimized. You're actually optimizing the cells to use your thyroid hormones the best way that your body can. And again, I work with clients that some of them are on thyroid hormone medication and some are not. So again, this is why when you do the blood test might show completely normal numbers. Whether you're on thyroid hormone medication or not, doesn't mean your body's using it. And that's where the minerals come into play. If there's also metals present, which this test will check, if there's metals present, it will bump minerals out of the way. So it won't let your body even use those minerals. So that's another way that just because you have thyroid hormones doesn't mean you're using it. And if the metal is present, for example, like mercury is notorious, it will make it really hard to use thyroid hormone as well. So again, I love to utilize this test. The test I use is called hair tissue mineral analysis. It is by a company called Trace Elements. It's my favorite company for this. I highly, highly recommend this. Like I mentioned, I do this with every one of my clients when they start with me. It is included inside my big thyroid program that I do, which is my 6-month program, but it is the only test that I do as a standalone. I will do this test without any other testing on board because I'm so adamant about minerals being in check to optimize your thyroid health, to optimize the use of thyroid hormones. So I will actually do that as standalone. So definitely, if you have questions with this, you want to know more information about this, definitely drop a comment below. I will get back to you and give you more information on how you can access that testing with me to again, get more optimization of your body so that you use your thyroid hormones. So if you have more questions, let me know. If you want to know how you can get access to this testing with me, I'm happy to give you more information on that as well. So let me know also if you've ever done the hair tissue mineral analysis, what has been your experience with it as well. Because I just, like I said, I just think it's just an amazing test. And there's so much information we can get that will optimize the health of your thyroid. So I hope this video helped you. And like I said, drop a comment below if you want to know more information and have more questions. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.